It took me well over a month to make the new fourth turning videos, but the first comment on the Patreon said, "You should make a video about screws." I want to harvest the cold shoe from this GoPro 8 thing to make a monitor mount, and that will require screws, so here goes. I rarely use nails because screws are better for at least two reasons. One, you can get a tighter connection with a screw than with a nail. And two, you can take the thing apart if it's assembled with screws. Here are the screws that concern my shop. Over 99% of my screws are tapping screws, the pointy kind that can dig its own hole. Over 99% of my screws are Phillips head. I do have one box of hex head that I used for roofing. Flathead screws are banned. Phillips, Harry. Almost all of my screws are sheet metal screws. I mostly use them for wood, but they're called sheet metal screws, designed for joining sheet metal. My sheet metal screw knowledge came from Tom Sachs, but the Wikipedia of screw information is the McMaster car catalog. They don't pay me, but it's true. They'll tell you everything. I'm no expert. I'm a hobbyist. McMaster car. My favorite Tom Sachs catalog is designed after the McMaster car catalog. We just call it McMaster. I prefer sheet metal screws because the sizing is straightforward and easy to remember. The smallest sheet metal screws that I use are number 2. Yay big. The largest sheet metal screws in the shop are number 14s. Yay big. Though I cannot find a single instance of number 14 use anywhere around the house, studio, or shop, we used number 14s in nutsies to join the track to the pipe flanges.
But that was a long time ago, that's all.
The most common screws I use are probably number 8s or number 10s. Now the number 2, number 14, number 8, refers to the shaft and head diameters, but the numbers don't correlate to anything as far as I can tell. A number 2 is 0.086 inches in diameter, but who cares? A number 2 is a number 2, tiny diameter. A number 14 is big diameter. Length. I use imperial length sheet metal screws, inches, as opposed to metric length screws, millimeters. Woodworking, I do in inches. Mechanic stuff, I do in metric. Tom Sachs once told me that imperial measurement yields more harmonious proportions than does metric measurement. My sheet metal screws I stock in 1/2 inch lengths to 1.5 inch lengths in most diameters. I generally stock screws in 1/4 inch length intervals, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch, and 1.5 inch. I use 2 head types, flathead and roundhead, aka panhead. So when buying sheet metal screws, I ask for or look for 2 numbers and the head type. Number 6, 3/4 inch panhead, or what have you. Beware that Phillips screws come in 3 major sizes, requiring 3 sizes of screwdrivers. Little guys use a number 1-bit screwdriver. Medium, that is most screws, use a number 2 screwdriver. And big screws use a number 3 screwdriver. Too big don't fit. Too small will strip. Most people don't know this. Generally speaking, plywood does not need to be pilot drilled to prevent splitting. Generally speaking, every other kind of board does. There are two types of pilot holes we drill depending upon the application. We pre-drill a pilot hole when we want our screw to tightly grip or tap our wood. To hang a hook, for instance. We clear drill a pilot hole when we want the threads of our screw to spin freely in the pilot hole, when we want to join wood to wood or metal to wood. The steel, in the case of this hook, is clear drilled. The wood here is pre-drilled. For form's sake, we countersink when using flathead screws. I use two types of countersinks. This type, which does not drill a pilot hole, and this type, which does drill a pilot hole, generally a clear drilled pilot. Let's make that monitor mount. I'm going to harvest this cold shoe from a GoPro 8 media mod, which I've never used and will never use. It was a hand-me-down. I'll leave the cold shoe on the media mod while I drill it so I can clamp the cold shoe more easily than if I removed it before drilling. I use a center punch to dent the steel so the countersink bit won't skate out. Use oil whenever drilling through steel, of course. This should be the correct diameter to countersink my 1/2-inch number 2s. Now I clear drill the steel. Mark the 2x2 with a pencil. I center punch the wood, but pros probably don't. Pre-drill for my number 2s, probably overkill, but I'm going for precision here. Screw it down, flush and smooth. Thank you, Atomos, for sending me the monitor. They don't pay me. And thank you, Alexander Palacios, for the idea for this video. And Alexander does pay me on my Patreon.